Fractured World is an original made story that's set and made in the Minecraft universe. The story follows a group of adventurers as they battle their way through the realms, fighting all the evil that stands in their way, with a bigger plot happening in the background. The story goes deep, and in this video I will explain all the main points from across the adventures, and get you guys up to date. Our adventure begins in a small canyon. A small village has formed here. The residents live in peace, fishing and thriving in a small community. Here lies a man, the owner and overseer of the clock tower for this canyon. One day, he was doing maintenance on the clock hands because for some reason they had stopped moving. While repairing the hands, he noticed the tower seems to be acting odd, almost like the clock itself is an anomaly in space-time itself. Trying to repair the hands ended up overclocking the tower, causing anything in it to be zapped with the anomaly's power. This has granted the man the power of time. He has become the timekeeper. With his power rising, he decided to use it for the evil of the world, to start his plan of total world domination under his time spell. First he started with the canyon, succumbing in a time loop causing the residents to be zapped in a solar vortex through a never-ending time loop, except for a few individuals. The timekeeper heads to a lab in the water where a man resides. His name is Dr. Fritz Hichtrat. There, he forced the doctor by a blade point to make a substance to spread through the world and start his ruling. The doctor unwillingly agrees. The timekeeper needed his power to spread more, so he heads to the spire where a man damned to the spire for years resides, the smartest man of the realms, and the creator of beacons, potions, and teleporters. The Alchemist made a deal with the timekeeper. In exchange for him helping the keeper and making beacons for him, the timekeeper would set him free of his curse. The timekeeper's ruling grows strong and unopposed, until something has arrived at the canyon. Cornir Hathagen, Krudite Caballero, Ajax Fortia, and the dragon tamer Eljor Startree, and the rest of the crew pull up to the canyon under a mission led by the leader of the division, General Bullet Shepherd. The adventurers arrive at a canyon. Before they meet up with Bullet Shepherd, they find a log journal of a previous explorer named Samuel Aberg.
This canyon is huge. There's no way I'll find the artifact. I must talk to the townsfolk to see if I can find clues. This house provided to be useful, but I have to leave it now. Once I find that artifact, I'll have to set up a base near it. I have a weird feeling about this place.
An explorer who came to the canyon in search of an ancient artifact. The group meets up with Bullet and discusses what they were brought here for. Shepard states how there have been some weird things happening in the canyon. People have reported things missing and seeming out of place, and a weird growing infection near the village. Shepard wants you to explore and find out what's going on in the canyon. Your group heads to a nearby village to get clues. There, all the houses seem to be deserted, signs of no life at all. In the town hall, there's a book left by the mayor of the village, Adrian Turnpike.
Village log, day 1. City Hall is built in this beautiful cavern. Day 4. Coming up with a town name is not easy. Day 5. Oh, I know. I shall call this place Silt Village. Day 13. I woke up to see a building I've never seen before. It just appeared overnight in the mountains. Day 15. Last night I started to hear a strange noise coming from the nearby cave. I'll have to investigate it. Day 16. There seems to be a strange artifact that has appeared. I have no clue what it does, but the mountain base seems to be connected to it. Day 25. There's some weird substance leaking out of the cave. It's starting to spread and infect the ground nearby. We must contain it before it spreads. Day 27. The hands of the clock tower have stopped moving. But why? Day 29. There's a substance that has emerged from the cave. This time it's blue. Whenever I'm near it, my body, it starts to ache. Day 1. City Hall is built in this beautiful canyon.
From the balcony, you are able to notice the infection spreading out of a mountainside cave. It seems the town folks tried to contain it, but utterly failed. On the mountainside lies a building. The group goes through the infection and into the cave. The cave leads to a broken artifact with a book left by Samuel Aberg. He has found the artifact but needs to find the key to open the artifact. You scale the ladder and reach into Aberg's main resting quarter. At this point, the group is just following Samuel Aberg's trail to hopefully find out what went down in the canyon. The trail of Aberg leads back down into the forest where a small campsite is found. In the campsite, Aberg has written down another book. His artifact locator is leading him towards the direction of the clock tower. Upon entering the tower, you notice a blue substance laying on the ground. You go up the tower and learn of a man named the Timekeeper.
4 steps back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back again. The ability to time jump is finally near. When all the lines add up, it will finally begin. But for now, we wait. Not a single move made. Not until the hands reach right.
You learn that the Timekeeper and the clock tower were the main reason why the canyon's residents went missing, and why people reported weird time anomalies here. There you get a key that opens up the way to the lab in the middle of a lake. Samuel's trail leads you there. Going down to the lab, you enter a dark, bloody lab. There you learn about a doctor named Fritz Hichtret. His book tells about how he was forced by Playboy by a mysterious man to help create an infection virus. He had no choice but to help. Throughout his experiments, he started to descend into madness, losing his sanity completely and going crazy.
Power has been founded to the canyon. Took me a while, but the power of this beacon has come through for me, thanks to the artifact from the prison. Defense system acquired. Tripwire set. Unwanted guests say goodbye. Grave digging. Strange bodies. Experiments on these prove to be confusing. Ancient bones are hard to saw through. More powerful saws are needed. Answers to be found. Bodies are piling up. Need a way to dispose of them. Too much blood. Not enough info. Need more. Power is dwindling. More bodies needed. The town I will go must lure people. The acid pit is made. A place to dispose of unwanted bodies. Secret connection needed. Only when the right lines will it open. Bodies no more. Info needed. Not enough. Will the info be worth it? No. Yes? If only the bodies had more info. Approached by a figure. No name stated. Refused. Wants me to make infection. Distraction? I refused. Not enough info to help yet. Forced by blade point. Experiments take a turn to help figure. Will it work? Success! It's finally alive. I've done it! I shall call this Sculk. Figure takes formula. No payment. My work will resume, no? The bodies. Infected. The underground. Infected. Yes. Stabbed? Will it live? No. Not now. Not any time.
He was stabbed by the figure and presumed to be dead.
Such a strange place. A strange man. All the experiments must have done something to his mind. His sanity must have been gone. Now, I have an answer for what this substance is, and how it came to be. But who's that figure you was talking about? He's still around? Regardless of that, I shall continue my search. This lab provides me with nothing useful to me anymore. If only there was a cure for this Sculk here, it would be real convenient.
The blue substance is apparently called Sculk. The group finds access to Fritz's acid pit. At the bottom of the acid pit lies a corpse with a key to the crypt on him. You take it and follow Aberg's trail to the crypt. Apparently down in the crypt holds the key that is needed to access the artifact. Aberg ran into the Timekeeper when he headed to the crypt. Keeper promised to help Aberg find the key.
I found where the energy is coming from thanks to this guy I ran into. He calls himself the Timekeeper. He told me his clock got overrun by Sculk since the doctor planted it all there. He told me he found the rest of the pieces to the artifact down in the crypt. It's really dark down that hole, but I must press on. If I can get that artifact fixed, then who knows what I'll find.
The crypt is a dark and empty place. Being the ground zero where the Sculk was tested, it is completely overrun with plenty of Sculk. Down there you learn of a race of ancient beings who apparently lived down in the crypt until leaving the overworld to head back to where they came from. When the group reaches the crypt, you're met with a Sculk-infested warden, which actually turns out to be Samuel Aberg.
I should have listened to my guts. It was all a trap. The damn Timekeeper led me down here with promises of the artifact, only to completely abandon me with no way out of this crypt. I see what I think is the box that the artifact has, but it's just out of reach. I should have known all the lines connected. It all makes sense now. With this is my end, there's no way of getting up. Might as well accept my fate. Anyone who reads this, I just hope you have a way out. If not, then pray you don't succumb to the sulk.
Apparently Aberg was lied to and deceived. He was left to rot in the Sculk-infested crypt. The group manages to avoid the warden and find where the artifact key lies. They take the key and find a way out of the crypt via a secret exit. The group heads back to the artifact and lights the portal. They enter it. It leads them to a different dimension. In that place, they're given a sword called the Time Killer, and are left a message by the ancients.
As the timekeeper's powers surge into the world and must be stopped. He lies atop the old ancient spire with 4 beacons engulfing the canyon of time loop. You must follow our direction if you wish to live.
The group needs to deactivate the beacons before they can scale the spire. Around the canyon lay 4 deactivation beacons that the adventurers go to. One lies in the crypt again. They deactivate it. The group heads to a prison to find where the second lever is. Down there they learn that the mobs that were in prison had broken out and caused chaos in the prison, killing the warden and guards. In 2 of the cells lay bones of the Wither and the Ender Dragon, 2 foes which have fallen during the 200-year war of the Overworld. They find the lever and deactivate it. The 3rd lever lies down below the depths of the water lab. Fritz's secret underwater lab. This lab is where he did most of his inhumane experiments, creating weird monstrosities. A dark secret lies here, hidden, so hidden that it will not be shown until Adventure 3. They find the lever and flick it. Now they scale the spire to where the last lever lies. The group reaches the spire. This is where the timekeeper lies. Near the top they reach a room the alchemist resides in.
I think this spire has cursed me, man. I cannot live, nor can I die. Can't even leave this damn canyon. I think I might be damned to this place for an eternity. So, this time, I finally perfected the makings of these potions. Even though I might be trapped, the world will know of my potions. Potions. So much time has gone by, man. Still all by myself. So lonely. Last human contact. Man approached me in my spire. He called himself the Timekeeper. Looks like he has the ability to warp time itself. That's radical. This one gained that ability. He wants me to build 4 beacons to cover the canyon in a field of magic. That I can do. It's about time I did something productive again. A group of strangers has totally entered the canyon. The timekeeper says I should run. Hide, but I will do what he says. It's only for the best.
They deactivate the final lever which stops the canyon's time loop and opens up the entrance to the top of the spire. They finally meet the timekeeper in person.
So it seems the group of imbeciles have pushed past all odds and now facing me down. So be it then. You can fight me and you may even beat me, but I've already damaged this world and you cannot fix it. Time itself will forever be shattered and the infection of the Sculk will only grow stronger. If I were to die, you will only bring anger to bigger gods. So here I stand now, adventurers. Fight me if you dare.
The fight begins. The keeper takes a turn and jumps down the spire. He leads the group into the end through an old portal. This portal leads to the far outskirts of the end, a place where no life resides. There, the keeper traps the group in a cage where he uses his time power to revive the Wither. He fights alongside the Wither, but his fight is defeated shortly after the group uses the sword designed specifically to kill the keeper, the Time Killer. His head was cut clean off and the Timekeeper's reign is finally over. White particles leave the body and float into the air. They begin to shake rapidly, then disintegrate from existence. The group heads back to the overworld and meets back with Bullet. The Timekeeper is gone, but the Sculk still remains. Bullet goes and tries to find the whereabouts of the Alchemist, since he is the only man that might know how to stop the Sculk. The whereabouts of the Alchemist is located. He resides on an island called the Isle of the Crystal. The group takes a teleporter there and meets up with Bullet Shepherd. Shepherd discusses the plan. The group must find the Alchemist and bring him back in one piece, for he might be the only key to stopping the Sculk. Upon scaling down the mountain, they find another artifact. This confirms the existence that there are more than one artifact portal can be around. Of course, it needs another key though. At the bottom of the mountain, there is a book written by the ancients.
Hello, travelers, we meet again. You may not know us all too well, but we know you a lot. We are the ancients, an old civilization only hanging on by a thread. We have written this message to tell you about our lead, the unforeseen action. To reach the Alchemist and put an end to his big plan, you must explore the island and find the 4 artifacts of power. With these artifacts in possession, not only will you be strong, but it's the key to stopping the Alchemist and disrupting his plans. We wish you luck.
The group must find 4 artifacts and sacrifice them at the Temple of Zath, the sacrificing spot of the ancients. The first artifact, the Shard of Power, is found in the water treatment pipes at the Alchemist's lesser lab. There you find out how the Alchemist never liked the idea of Sculk, but won't deny its uses. The second artifact, Artifact of Death Miners, is found under the original lab of Dr. Fritz Hichtrat. There you learn that the Doctor was working on a beacon of his own, but wasn't able to find a way to power it. So he traveled to the canyon in hopes to find the piece needed to energize the beacon. The third artifact, Artifact of Death Scene, is found in an old ancient sewer. It's being dug up and surrounded by a bunch of Sculk. Behind a locked door in the sewer lies the ancient Temple of Zath. This place used to be an old sacrificing spot for the ancients. Now it's been deserted and left as a huge maze. The group scales the temple and goes through the maze. Once they reach the end, they teleport to a second layer above the temple. There they notice 4 lava spots with the corresponding artifacts above it.
Hello again. If you've made it to the temple, then I'm assuming you have gained all 4 artifacts. If you do have the artifacts, throw them in the lava with the corresponding area. You should have the Artifact of Death Minus, the Artifact of Death Seeing, Shard of Power, and last but not least, the Time Killer Sword we gave you. Sacrificing these artifacts should have opened the Fallen Spire and stopped the Alchemist plan by completely changing the Sculk to something different. The ladder will fall now.
They need to throw the 4 artifacts in the lava. They also learn that the Time Killer Sword is actually the 4th artifact needed. The group throws the 4 artifacts in the lava and are granted access to the top layer of the temple. There's a book up there. They read it.
Wow, I did not think that would work. You actually fell for the whole ancients thing. I'm like actually laughing, man. You guys are gullible. I put teleporters under the lava, so thanks to you guys, you like just totally brought me 4 powerful artifacts I can use to bring the Timekeeper back to life. So, thanks again. I really appreciate it. You guys are the best.
It turns out it was never the ancients speaking to them the entire time. It was the Alchemist. They have been lied to and now just given the Alchemist 4 components needed to bring the Timekeeper back to life. They return back up and cross a fallen ancient spire that has been blown up by the Alchemist in a fit of rage and revenge. It now acts as a bridge. The group crosses it and heads to the soaring airborne Armageddon in the sky. They fight their way through hired mercenaries to protect the ship and get hold of another artifact key. They head back to the mountain and enter the artifact. In the artifact, they reach the same dimension from before, just this time in a bigger area. They have reached a place called the Shrine of the Crystal, a small territory with a caged wither in the middle, guarded by a faction called the Children of the Crystal.
Don't be alarmed. We know you've been tricked, but we're the real deal. Look, with you giving the Alchemist those artifacts, his plan has been fast-forwarded by a large margin. As our age gets older, we start to lose touch with our ability to see and predict things. But for what forever happens is for the bigger plan. For now, you must stop the Alchemist. The only way is to destroy the 4 crystals and get to that chain wither before he does. If he manages to get the eyes before you do, then me and my buddy just won. So stop reading and get moving.
This time it's the real ancients talking to you. They warn you about what's to happen and the group must hurry to deactivate 4 crystals and get to the caged wither before the Alchemist does. They fight their way through the shrine and deactivate the 4 crystals. They get to the caged wither only to realize that the Alchemist has just beat them there and have already harvested the eyes of the wither.
Thanks again, guys. I really appreciate it, man. While you guys were dealing with the last crystal, I managed to sneak way up here just in time for you guys to destroy it and kill the chained wither. Impressive. This totally allowed me to harvest its eyes, giving me another huge step to bring the Lord of Time back. So thanks, guys. I would not have been able to do it without ya.
You leave that dimension and head back to the overworld. You're teleported to an armory that the Alchemist has let you in. You gear up and get a key to the observatory. Up top the observatory is a puzzle you must solve to gain access to the Alchemist's main lab. Upon entering the right combo, the trapdoor opens. In there you notice all of your artifacts and the head of the Timekeeper.
You're totally too late, man. My creation is done. I hope you are prepared, for I know I am. I know you guys won't give up the chase on us. So meet me on top of the Crown Tower. There seems like a good place to finish this once and for all. Good luck.
The Alchemist has successfully brought the Timekeeper back to life, and now he awaits for you up top of the Crown Tower. You go through the sunken graveyard and scale the Crown Tower. The middle layer of the Crown Tower has a giant deep slate frame in the middle. Who knows what that's for? Once you reach the top, you're greeted by both the Alchemist and the Sculk-infested Timekeeper.
Behold the ultimate creation! With the power of the Sculk and the 4 artifacts, the Lord of Time is back. Your trip ends here, adventurers. Feel the wrath of my creation!
The duo puts up a good fight against the group, but ends up falling short after the group manages to get the upper hand slightly against the duo. They are both slain and the bodies are left to rot on the throne. After that fight, the group gets struck by purple lightning and are sent through a portal that leads to the heads. While surrounded in purple, a mysterious voice speaks to them.
How does a group of survivors manage to gain enough power to not only defeat one of the smartest men alive, but also kill a Lord of Time? You clearly are able to overcome any combat physically, but what about a mental battle? I think it's time we visit some old memories, see if we can shatter your mind and break your spirit.
You are confronted by the god of all Sculk, the Allsight. You're confronted in a more bizarre way. Instead of him fighting you, he instead tries to break your mind apart. He sends you through various locations you've already explored, but in a more twisted and corrupted version of it. Crying obsidians and chains litter the minds of all. In each place, the Allsight gives more insight of what actually happened. The first place he sends you is the secret underwater lab of Dr. Fritz.
Dr. Fritz's secret lab, a place where he conducted inhumane experiments. It all drove him mad. Do you remember the reason you came here in the first place?
After finding the lever, you're sent back to the Temple of Zath.
The Temple of Zath, one of the Ancients' first builds in the overworld, a sacrificial temple, but turned to betrayal and manipulation by the Alchemist. I went ahead and adjusted your memory a little. It may not look the same.
After escaping the warden in a modified maze, you're sent to the prison.
The old prison, a strong fortress, capable of holding even the strongest of monsters. But all it took was one monster to break free for the whole prison to come crumbling down. The warden was only one day from retirement before he was slain. It's honestly quite humorous.
After finding the lever again, you are sent to the Ancient Spire.
The Ancient Spire, a tower built by the Ancients to keep power and defense to their home, but taken over by the Timekeeper with the help of the Alchemist. Together they changed the power of the beacons and engulfed the canyon in a time warp. Let's see if you can make it to the top again. The workplace of the Alchemist, the man who created the potions you are using now, forever cursed to be stuck to this spire, only broken free by the Timekeeper himself. He barely escaped as a group of adventurers pillaged the canyon.
After scaling the spire, you're sent to the Crown Tower once again.
The Crown Tower, a huge tower designed for a tyrant's rule, a high point for a mighty throne, one for a king high above his throne, and he knows it. The Alchemist could have fled to a new life, but he knew he owed the Timekeeper. After all, he did cure the Alchemist of his curse. I do feel pity for poor Quinn. If it wasn't for the Ancients, he would have never been a part of this conflict. He wasn't deserving of his death.
After fighting the 2 assassin brothers on the top, you're sent to the crypt, where the Sculk Fallen A-book still awaits you.
The old crypt, a place where the Ancients once lived. Ground zero for the Sculk infestation. Now locked and buried under a graveyard, only to be discovered again by the Lord of Time. He lured a man by the name of Samuel Aberg down here in promise of the key.
but only to be betrayed and left to succumb to the Sculk. His body still roams as it was never defeated, for you must find the reason you came here in the first place.
After flicking the lever again, you are sent back to the Shrine of the Crystal, deep in the Nether.
The Shrine of the Crystal, home to the children of the Crystal. These guys are brutal, dishonest, descendants of the Nether. They pillage and bring havoc wherever they go. They worship a divine entity known as the Crystal God. No one knows who this is, but I'm sure he's dangerous. I hope you came prepared to fight an old foe who hasn't risen in ages.
After fighting the two withers, the All-Sight has had enough. The group managed to prevail and push through the altered memories. There, he spat you out in the middle of the ocean where a tall building stands to greet you. After reaching the building, you learn that this place is Samuel Aberg's original home. In that building, you learn of his research on a piece of an artifact he managed to find. His research tests his mental strength as he gets deeper in decoding the artifact. As he gets deeper in decoding the artifact, more images of a ghastly horde wither starts to haunt him. He eventually decodes the artifact. It turns out to be a map that leads him to the canyon where he will find the bigger artifact. He sets forth on an adventure.
My research is nearing its end. I can feel the answer. While my attempts to decode the artifact slowly increase, the water around my house is starting to have a weird effect. It's making the water feel almost unswimmable. I feel the cause of this from the Sea Siren Water Village, not too far from my house. The water seems to be getting worse from what I can see. I would approach it, but I know if I do, I won't come back alive, so for now, I will continue my research and hopefully finish it. Make it out of here before the water starts to do some damage. Ever since I've gotten close to decrypting this artifact, weird images of a ghastly horror keeps haunting me. I swear it's making me lose my mind. Clearly this artifact holds a deeper power that I'm only getting closer to discovering. I've just gotta keep pushing through, because once I'm done, I can finally see the true nature of this world. At least I have finally broken down the code and have a nail down for this artifact. My predictions have proven false for this. What I thought was a gateway to another realm turned out to be more of a key or map. It's hard to decipher, but I kinda get a footing on it. It says I must travel to the outskirts of this ocean and find a tunnel that will lead me straight into a canyon, where I will find the bigger artifact. I think it's time I say goodbye to this place. It sure did held me well, but that water is getting too heavy to swim in anymore.
You find a teleport upon Aberg's house. It leads you to the edge of the jungle island, the morass of the banished.
And here you still stand. Not even a scratch made mentally or physically. I see you have wandered into the trail of the Sculk fallen Aberg yet again. He is a very intelligent man. Always had a way to solve anything. Hopefully this time you don't get lured into a crypt where a warden stands to greet you. My lair resides ahead, though its passage is blocked by an unknown source. If you really think you're worthy, then see if you can breach it. Only then will I truly start to fear, though don't get your hopes up, as the challenges ahead are only for the most true of warriors. I will wait. Let's see if you can make it.
You continue to follow the trail. On this island you run into an overrun village with a statue of the timekeeper near the base of the village. The statue has the ability to fast forward time when you stand near it. In the distance lies a Sculk island which houses the All-Sight's lair, but the entrance is locked behind a strong power source. Down the island you will find a tunnel that will eventually lead to the canyon. Aberg took this route. Next to the tunnel is an underwater teleporter shrine. It houses 4 teleporters which lead to various points that have a beacon locking the entrance to the All-Sight's lair. One is offline currently due to the amount of Sculk around it. To break the beacons, the ancients give you another gift of a tool, specifically designed to help.
It is us once again talking to you. We know the All-Sight seems very powerful, and while he has many tricks up his sleeve, it is a lot easier to take down than you think. This temple holds a teleporting network that leads to various areas where he gains some of his powers. Each place is a beacon, and once destroyed will break free of his lock on his lair. You must hurry though, his rampage is already affecting the nether. It's causing the mold to shatter and break. And if you don't hurry, then he will do the same to your world. Now go, as I fear the end is near.
You don't belong here. Only people with such high ranking and power should step on the shrine of grace. You are not worthy. You shouldn't even be this far. You have been guided by luck, but here I will strike you down with misfortune. The worthy live and the weak rot. So do yourself a favor and head back before grace sees you as false hope.
The first teleporter leads to the Shrine of Grace, an assortment of flying islands with crosses and chains holding them up. There you fight Grace and Retribution, two small ghost devils. You deactivate the first beacon using the special pickaxe that the ancients gave you. The second teleporter leads you to Ashfall Volcano, a giant volcano with a hollow core. Deep in the core lies a research lab used to test on the volcano creatures, led by a scientist called Edward Altraz. There you fight 3 strong volcano ghasts. You break the second beacon. The third teleporter leads you to Sea Urn Bay, an underwater village home to the sea sirens. There is the birth spots of the Elder Guardians and home to a half-broken portal that leads you to the heart of the sea. Around the area surrounds a heavy field of toxic water caused by the heart's lingering effect. You break the third beacon. The fourth teleporter now finally activates. You take it and are sent back to the canyon where Dr. Fritz Hicktrack's secret underwater lab lays.
You think you appear closer to my lair, but you think wrong. You mortals are really beginning to piss me off. It makes no sense. You've all managed to scrape your way here, all by mere luck. You're good, but I'd be a liar if I said you haven't caused me some concern. I think it's finally time we meet. Then maybe you will finally fall.
This time, the corridors are destroyed and full of chains breaking the walls and crying obsidian. At the end of one of the corridors, the wall is broken open. Instead of being closed like last time, you enter through the wall and find yourself in a small room called Research Point DX-23. The room is full of Sculk and crying obsidian, with a giant portal open in the middle of the wall. It turns out Fritz was not the original maker of Sculk, for he had just conveniently made a lesser variant of it. Him doing this caused the All-Sight to catch notice of him. The All-Sight broke his chains through the lab and confronted Fritz. The sight of the Sculk God managed to make Fritz spiral down into insanity. With this discovery from the All-Sight, it made him push his plan of infecting the overworld a lot more sooner than he had hoped for.
Such a dark thing, such an evil thing. Why would Fritz hide this? He clearly didn't want the world to know the truth. Fritz was a handy individual, I must say. As the Timekeeper threatened him by blade point, my chains broke through and revealed themselves. Fritz was already going insane from all his twisted experiments, so it didn't take much for him to fall into greater insanity upon my mere presence. As the Sculk grew stronger, so did my chains. Their bond grew stronger as it slowly started to wreck the Nether and the foolish ancients. Now they seep into the overworld. As the chain's rampage has only started to grow, the inevitable is upon.
You break the beacon and release the lock on the All-Sight's lair. You go back to the Sculk Island and enter it. You make your way to the Sculk throne room where the body host of the All-Sight greets you. The group fights and almost loses but manages to prevail only slightly. The All-Sight fell, for his body he was hosting has been destroyed, but his essence and Sculk still roamed free. It somehow hasn't stopped.
Here you stand before me at last. You've done well to make it this far, but I believe it's time we end this farce. Draw your blades and prepare to meet your end.
Tensions rise between the factions. Uncertainty in the air. Do you feel that pulsing? The beats of time? The All-Sight will rise soon. You must stop it. The world will fracture. Though I would love to see it. You feel the power scale above you? Soon the realm will know who its true king is. Then, only then will they feel what mercy feels like.
With the fall of the All-Sight, it has caused some uncertainty in the air. Two groups catch eye on this and call for you to help them: the Children of the Crystal and the Void Watchers. The adventurers decide to team up with the Children of the Crystal. The group arrives on an outskirt of a small building. Upon entering the house, they find a bloody book on the ground. It is by a man named Entro Slash. He writes about his experience in the book.
This world's a cruel one. Started this journey with high hopes, smiles among the five of us. They tagged along, all good people. But one stupid mistake cost them all their lives. As I write this book, shocked and bleeding, I give a fair warning. Never touch anything with extraordinary power. We thought this building would be a good spot to rest, but our curiosity got the best of us. That damn black demon resting atop the building. It's dead at least, for the moment. I'm gonna need to take a nap. Hopefully I won't wake up.
It tells us about how a group were attacked by a storm of darkness while they were resting the night at the house. Its body remains at the top still. You flick a lever next to the furnace and open a trapdoor. You go down and are greeted by an artifact. This artifact leads you straight to the Crystal Children's Citadel. Upon entering the Citadel, you are greeted by a wither skeleton named Solex Riego. He tells you about the plan of finally stopping the All-Sight for good. There lies 4 wither beacons which are needed to stop the revival of the All-Sight. The children have 2, but the Void Watchers have the other 2. They plan to use the beacons to bring back the All-Sight from the dead, which is something Solex does not want to happen. The Citadel has gone through a small war against the army of Pestilence and Death, and have lost a great portion of the Citadel. They need to fix up the lost power to use the computers to locate the end gateway to stop the Void Watchers from bringing the All-Sight back. The group is tasked to head to 2 reactors and strip them from the cores. It will be enough to track down the 2 missing Endires that are needed, but before that, the group explores the Citadel a bit. Manotech, the Nether Machine. He demands you to go through with the plan.
The war has put a huge stop in our plan. Our technology has been destroyed by the army of death and pestilence. A huge setback, to be sure. Desperate measures must be taken. Luckily, I have an idea on how to rebuild the reactors. We strip them of their core. It'll fuel our power. The STA, we go back to the Harbinger's lab. Take it from the machine's heart. The eyes, not too far. Kill the false guardians. I can't do it, but maybe you can find someone to do it for us. ETA, 2 weeks. The plan will be back on point. We will come. The Void Watchers must watch out.
Down in the living quarters are 3 Netherbloods. Past humans who have sacrificed their bloods to become one with the Nether, being granted longer life and power. Vantra is Blackheart, the brother of Iris. He was part of Entro's traveling party before they managed to fall to the Black Storm. Solex found both his and Iris's body and converted both of them into Netherbloods, for Solex saw potential in them. While Iris is not too fond of her new life, Vantra sees it as an opportunity to live a new life, giving him a newfound purpose. He loves the feeling of battle and hopes to rank up to the Netherblood and hopefully one day dethrone Solex.
I've heard stories from people who have regretted ever becoming a Netherblood. People who feel like they've lost their way. But I feel the complete opposite. I feel like I have a purpose now. To serve and fight is what makes me feel alive. I know not many people can achieve this peace. I, for once, am a lucky boy. Hopefully I can scale the ranks and finally become the new Netherblood Knight.
The Netherblood Knight, or literally the Arbiter, is another blood who has ranked up highly and has been granted a set of indestructible netherite armor. He has granted himself a high position in the ranks and follows Solex's command with no hesitation. Not much is known about him, for he remains the silent mystery type. Iris Blackheart, the sister of Vadris. She was also part of Entro's group before succumbing to the same fate as her brother. While she slowly tries to find peace in this new life, she still wants out. She never asked to be reborn. Though, through her stays of Netherblood, she has gained a liking for a certain individual. The Wishmaster has gazed her heart and she is blinded by love. She gives the group loot in exchange to give the Wishmaster a gift from her. Down the citadel you run into a shrine of a crystal. On both sides lay 2 rooms. One room has a wither beacon that has been researched on.
Testing on the Wither Beacon is going as good as expected. Lots of info is being learned from just one beacon. Each beacon holds a power from a gemstone. It uses that power with a larger beacon to create a large beam. We have this one, but if we want to stop the All-Sight, then we need to find the other 3 first. We need to do it before the Void Watchers get their hands on it.
The other room leads down into a Sculk and Crying Obsidian filled room. This room holds the grave of the All-Sight, or at least the grave of its host body. It has been harvested of its main essence and will be used to stop the All-Sight.
So the plan was a success, kinda. As always, the adventurers turned their back on the opponent they've killed. The All-Sight's body, well, most of it is in our possession now. This essence will be used with great power. Hopefully he doesn't mind too much. We will stop him, and we will not let him go back. Not anytime soon.
The All-Sight also decides to break the 4th wall and speaks to you from the grave.
Oh, so that's it? The end of my story. Just like that. No, I can't just die. Not like this. If you really think you killed me, then you are the fool. Your puny mortal bodies have just slowed things down. My Sculk still thrives in the fractured worlds, and there's nothing you can do about it. My essence still roams. My story isn't over. And yet in time you will see the true power of the All-Sight. Until we see each other again.
Down the hall lies an engineering room. He is the AdMech engineer, creator of the dreadnoughts which the Crystal Children used for the war. It's a deadly machine. You now enter a giant prayer room with a statue of the Crystal God. There, a high priest skeleton lord awaits you. His name is Zathkree. He's a powerful necromancer capable of infusing power from one host to another. To the left of him lies the library. In the library you find the Wishmaster. The Wishmaster has the ability to grant anyone a single wish, under a few circumstances. She is the lover of Iris Blackheart's. The group gives her the star that Iris wanted delivered. It's a special token from Iris as a way to show her trust and appreciation to her. To the right of Zathkree lies the entrance to the prison. In the prison, there are 3 people. One person with the name of Velvet Blossom calls out to the group. She states how she's not a prisoner for her crime, for the Crystal Children had just taken her captive and planned to use her as food for the magnesium pylon, to turn her into a mindless piglin zombie. With her being in the prison and the uneasiness that Iris has about the Crystal Children, the group starts to have doubts as the children of the Crystal seem to be more evil than they thought. A prison break is imminent. To the right of the prison lies the magnesium pylon, a giant pylon that is used to create an army of piglins. Bodies are sent through conveyor belts and are thrown into the pylon. It's a deadly machine that must be stopped, for its power it has is insane. In one of the cells there's a cracked floor. If you go through the floor, you will find your way into a secret lair. The lair where the presumed dead man Echo/Slash rests. Or at least did. He has been used by the Crystal Children as a money gain from countless battles from the Colosseum of Helx. He has slowly been finding a way out, but its way came earlier as 4 figures who called themselves the Void Watchers appeared in his room and granted him freedom. 4 skills had been wasted with the Crystal Children.
After months of fighting for the children of the Crystal, my prayers have finally been answered. A mysterious being appeared before me. She called herself a Void Watcher, whatever that meant. She claimed to have been watching me for some time and saw potential in me. Offered me a position among her army, the Farlanders. I was hesitant to trade one master for another, but I need to get out of this hell.
In the prayer room lies a door that houses 8 members of the Blade Legionnaires, a powerful blaze army gifted to Sculks from the Nether War King Ifrit. You now travel to the reactor room to get hold of the 2 big reactor cores. One reactor lies in the territory of the Nether Pestilence King, Grunganol. This reactor is already starting to overheat. You scale it and steal the core. The next reactor is in the territory of the Nether Famine King, Humbruna. The reactor is deserted. You scale it and take the core. You pass by the Hole of Famine on the way out.
The Hole of Famine, where people's dreams and belongings get thrown to burn. My servants have all they need to strive in this world. When you can't take for your own gain anymore, you start to take for the feeling of pleasure. We will strip everyone of what they have and throw it away for good. We are at the top, and we cannot let anyone come ahead of us. So enjoy Famine. The world will know its name.
You bring them back to Sculks and repair the main console. The console is now able to tell you the whereabouts of 2 End Eyes. One is located at the Nether Forge, guarded by the Redstone Nether monstrosity. The beast was taken control and used for guarded by the Void Watchers. After slaying the beast, you get hold of the first eye. You bring it back and locate the next eye. This one is guarded by a powerful greater demon Ignis. It lies in the Colosseum of Helx, but the door is locked by a key that's only found in the depths of the Pipes of Delta. You head to the pipes. On the way to the pipes, you pass by an abandoned ancient village. Upon entering one of the buildings, you find one of the ancients. He talks to you about what has happened.
This was an ancient trading village we established with the crystal children, but it didn't last long as the children betrayed us and burnt the village to the ground, even killing some of our own kind. They are assholes, those crystal children.
After that, you go through the pipes and get the key. You get the key and head to the Colosseum of Helx. There you fight Ignis and prevail, getting hold of the second eye. You bring it back to Sculk and are tasked to get hold of one more component which is needed to find the end gateway, the STA. It is located in a giant crater caused by the destruction of the mechanical wither. The group heads to the crater by following the beacons. After killing your way through some bandits, you find the key and entrance to an underground laboratory. The laboratory was the place where Trolloc tried to make shift the wither back to life.
I was simply going to revive the wither, but when I got to its cage, some idiot had removed its optics. So instead of being simple, I now need to rely on more advanced technology. I have constructed an exoskeleton for the wither. It not only creates a strong shield, but its energy is able to control the wither. Maybe a bit too much energy. The wither is out of control. It looks like it's going to blow. I have to leave now, before this thing blows us all up.
After finding the beast and the wither still down there, you fight it and destroy it. There you find the STA, you bring it back to Solux. Trolloc finishes the computer and they find a location of the end gateway. Solux and Trolloc make a pursuit to the end. They meet you there.
So you returned all in one piece, I see. With the STA finding the gateway, you will now bring the battle to the Void Watchers. Take your boats and head through the gateway. I'll see you on the other side.
You find the gateway and enter it. You enter a room with 3 teleporters. You see Solux, who is covered in blazed legionnaire armor, with Trolloc next to a teleporter. The next wither beacon lies behind the teleporter, but right now it's offline and needs to be turned back on. For the moment, Solux tasks you to get some end dust from the Void Watchers, for they need it to continue the mission.
You have found your way, I see. We are in enemy territory right now, so we have to act fast. You should have 2 wither beacons. This teleporter leads to a wither beacon, but it is currently offline. While me and Trolloc try to get it back online, I need you to find a 3rd beacon and make your way to the end tower to get hold of some end dust. We need it.
Before heading to the Void Watchers, the group takes a different teleporter which leads you under the main end island. You reach the Old Sight's lair. You learn that he was actually a Void Watcher at one point in time, and he has been plotting against the realms for a good while.
So I've finally been let into the ranks of the Void Watchers. It feels good. Oh, but they are fools. My power grows even stronger now. Soon my Sculk will be released from its dimension and will wreak havoc across the fractured worlds. First I'll start with the Nether, slowly rip its lands apart and form a new territory. Then I'll plant a seed in the overworld, cause some panic and destruction. And for the end, well, I'll leave it for now. Their time will come soon. With these 4 wither beacons, I will be able to regain my true form, the grandest storm.
There you get a hold of the 3rd wither beacon, as it has been hidden in his lair. Now the group goes to the other teleporters. This one leads them to the Farlands. This place is littered with Farlanders and houses one of the spires which the Void Watchers reside on. The group battles their way through hostile Farlanders and find their way to the Garden of Eon. This place houses a mystical tree that marks a point in time for each time a Void Watcher dies, and a bigger ball for each time a king or queen has fallen. Currently 3 queens have fallen and 2 kings. If the tree were to be destroyed, then the end just might be engulfed in a civil war. The tree means a lot to its people. That's why it's protected by the Guardian of Eon, the highest tier mage the Farlanders have to offer. The adventurers end up fighting him, but surprisingly the Guardian was putting up a good fight. He almost had the upper hand until he got communication from the End Queen Lilith to fall back and let the adventurers continue. He followed the order and retreated before the group could harm him anymore. The group goes past the garden and heads to a nearby shrine which houses an elevator up to the spire of the Void Watchers. In this shrine, the group runs into a man thought to be missing, Entro/. He has been given a new opportunity in the end. He is the lead commander of the Firelander armies, guarding the entrance to the Void Watchers and being the messenger between realms.
I don't blame you for thinking that I've died. I've been through a lot in these past few months. From adventuring like you, to being forced to fight for the Children of the Crystal, to becoming a part of the Farlanders. A lot has happened, but I'm grateful to still be alive.
You head up and enter the Void Watcher spire. You scale it and get greeted by the 4 Void Watchers. They are not happy with you. They say about how you're following the line and not doing any good from this.
The Allsight was banished from our realm long ago. He's a power-hungry traitor who only craves of rulership and dominance. And here you still question our authority? We know the Allsight. He is dead. You should know after all, since you killed him. Giving you the end dust will only cause the Allsight to rise again, just in its true form. Listen to us. Don't do it.
You fight so hard just to destroy your realm? You really want this end dust? And have your wish granted. Just don't come crawling back to us when your world is in ruins.
Through the hate, Apocry's Alvido, the End King coughs up the End Dust. You head back to Solux where the teleport is now online. On the other side is a bastion where the ancient End Golem lays rest. You find the Golem and kill it, gaining access to the last beacon. With all 4 beacons in your possession, you return back to the Overworld and head to the Sepulchre of the Allsight. You reach the Sepulchre and have to fight your way through Withered Beast. After slaying the beast, you meet Solux next to the shrine.
We finally made it. We are here. I can feel the tension of the Allsight's presence. Place those 4 beacons on each of the gemstones, with the 3 skulls placed in the middle beacon as well. When all that's done, the beacon should erupt and completely erase the Allsight's essence from the air.
You place 4 beacons on the right stone and put the Wither skulls in the middle. A giant laser shoots up in the sky and the ground shakes. It turns out Solux has been lying. He has betrayed you.
I may have been a little dishonest. We're not actually trying to kill the Allsight. We're trying to bring him back to his true form. Good luck with this mess. This will only make my goal to unite the faction worlds even easier.
In the sky, a giant black storm forms. The Wither abomination rises. The Allsight has been brought back to life in his true form, the Wither Storm. The group runs from this beast, who's destroying the land one chunk at a time. The group finds a shack. Inside the shack is Ardia Void. A Void Watcher has come to assist you.
You should have just listened. You should have just listened. Look what you've done to your world. Usually with this kind of idiocracy, we would let you deal with this yourself. But this one is different. The children grow strong and we cannot just stand back and watch your world get destroyed.
She knows that the overworld will fall if the beast stays uncontested. She gives you the right tools and direction to fight the beast. With your gear ready, you challenge the Allsight to one, hopefully, last duel. After a tough fight, the adventurers manage to defeat the Witherstorm, finally stopping its havoc. While the Allsight has fallen again, his essence still roams around once again. It needs to be stopped still. Sculk has not been stopped, nor has the Allsight fully. The group is confused and lost now. It is not until you receive a broken transmission that leads you back to the Canyon of Time.
Here I stand atop the Crown Tower. It's been too long since I've been here. And yes, of course, the bodies of the 2 fallen foes are still here. Those adventurers are too much of an idiot to clean up any mess they make. The Timekeeper and the Alchemist, you two had a great plan. Would have almost had it if the Ancients have not intervened. But now, I will finish what you have started. Beginning with taking the power that's rightfully mine. Your power will be used with great efficiency. My mission here is done. This is goodbye for now, Timekeeper. I'm sure we will run into each other soon. And for you, Alchemist, well, you suit your use. Unless...
You follow the broken transmission which leads you back to the very first place you started, the Canyon of Time. This time, the place is completely destroyed and covered in Sculk. There is no more trees or finished buildings, everything is wrecked. The infection has gotten out of hand. The transmission leads you down to the lab in the middle of the lake. You go down and see a giant hole in the ground. Down in the hole there is an acid pit. You avoid it. You keep following the path and reach a small area covered in pipes and acid. After going through there, you're greeted by huge dark corridors in a maze-like fashion. It's very creepy down here. You find a book which explains the sanity of Fritz.
I can't believe he stabbed me. I hate to say it, but the Timekeeper stabbing me may have actually saved me. I feel like my brain finally gained some sort of emotion, a grasp on what's finally going on. All the shadows, all the mindless thinking is mostly gone. My sanity has slowly come back. It's a blessing in disguise. First, I should probably fix myself up. Then I need to stop this Sculk. I've never wanted this to happen in the first place. The Allsight, or whatever he called himself, needs to be stopped. His rampage on the overworld will carry dire consequences on him.
Along one of the halls, you see a glass window with a figure standing behind it. He is watching you. After going through more doors, you reach him, though he is not hostile, for he has found a way. You are greeted by the thought-to-be-dead Dr. Fritz Hicktrad. He has called you to the canyon, for he has found a way to end the Sculk rampage, and he needs your help.
Welcome back to the Canyon Adventurers. I'm sure you've heard of me, and I for sure have heard of you. As you can see, the Sculk infestation has not been stopped. With the Allsight being revived in his true form for the few hours he was around, the Sculk spread and covered almost half of the overworld. But I think I have a plan. Meet me in my lab. I'll discuss more.
Once you reach his main lab, you are greeted by Bullet Shepard as well, your old commander who have lost contact with you a while ago. Fritz tells you that he has finally found a way to stop the Sculk for good.
The Allsight Sculk has ravaged the overworld for far too long. It's time we bring the fight to the Sculk realm and end this infestation once and for all. After such a long time, I've finally found a way to create the key needed to open a portal to the Sculk realm, the Heart of Sculk. The Heart of Sculk was the aftermath of combining many Redstone and Sculk components into one living, beating heart. If my math is correct, then this should be able to open the gateway. Please come back in one piece. You are humanity's last hope of survival. If you fail, then, well, the overworld will cease to exist. We're all counting on you.
Back at the Crown Tower lies a portal frame that, with the right key, will open a portal that will lead to the Sculk realm. He tells that there lies a heart which supposedly acts as the heart of the Allsight. Fritz has created a bomb which is specifically designed to destroy that heart, which in return will also destroy the realm, killing all in it. You return back to Crown Tower once again with a deep slate frame awaits you. You use the heart and make your way to the Sculk realm. In the realm you find lots of Sculk and many destroyed buildings from past people. One building you see is intact. Inside is a book written from the Timekeeper.
This place disgusts me. All these living blue blocks creep me out. I was never the biggest fan of Sculk, but it was a necessary discovery for the greater. The amount of power one little Sculk holds is insane. The potential it all holds. Hard to believe that Fritz made a direct copy of the Sculk. If it wasn't for him, then I don't think I would have ever met the Allsight. Anyways, the Allsight has brought me here to discuss a certain plan with me. He seems to know a lot about the future and the past, more than me, the person with time magic. He seems to know what his fate is and what will happen. He brought me here to hold on to a Sculk cell. As for when the right line hits the present, I'm apparently supposed to be the great turning point for whatever event he sees happening. Well, only time will tell. Time to try and get some sleep here. This place is creepy, but at least the house is cozy.
After looking more, you find a house dug into a cave. In that house you find a person. The subhuman Trixie La Luna. She was a half-demon, half-human which originated from the 200-year war of the overworld. She found her way into the Sculk realm from a portal that was left behind from the Allsight. She has been stuck in the realm for so long and still hasn't found a way to destroy the heart. But with Fritz's bomb, they now have a chance. Together they team up and reach the heart. There they are greeted by Solix Fuego. He tells them of his plan and how things have been set in motion.
Welcome to the Heart Adventurers. I've been awaiting your arrival. The heart of the Allsight still beats strong even after you did manage to kill its true form. You guys are some lucky people, but I think it's about time that changes now. I won't spoil too much, but I will say you guys need to start cleaning up your loose ends. Up top the Crown Tower lies two old foes, the Timekeeper and the Alchemist. The power that the Timekeeper holds is too much to leave for waste. I will infuse this power with mine to make myself even more powerful. I will control the power of time. Even though I confront you here, I really don't care if you destroy that heart. All that matters is that I get a hold of the Timekeeper's power, even if that means losing the Sculk. I know your power capability, and I won't doubt them. I won't confront you yet, not now, but I will still give you a little challenge. Remember the Alchemist? Well, let's just say he's the Sculk's last fighter.
He refuses to fight the adventurers because he knows it's a bad idea. Instead, he unleashes the newly Sculk-infested Alchemist to fight them. After a tough fight against the Heart's last defender, they defeat the Alchemist for good. Solix leaves. They place the bomb into the Heart and escape before it blows. The Sculk realm blows up. completely stopping the Sculk infection and killing the All-Sight and the Alchemist for good now. You return back to the canyon where Bullet greets you. He tells you how it's time to rebuild.
So that's it? The Sculk is finally destroyed? Good riddance. This infestation has been a huge setback for us. But now it's time to rebuild what we have lost. The Doctor and I have been thinking of turning this canyon into the Defender's home base. It only seems right that we have one, especially with all the new members we're getting recently. The Sculk seems to be disappearing on its own, so that solves that part. Now we just need to rebuild the structures and replant the nature. It will take a while, but it'll pay off. For you adventurers, you guys need to sit back. Right now, our main conflict and enemy is dead. And of course, I know Solux seems to be scheming something, but right now we can't do anything. With the place in this state, it's hard to form a battle plan. So for now, just rest. The conflict will only grow stronger from here.
Welcome back, my lord. I have been awaiting you. Hello, Zathri. I hope the preparations have been finished for my arrival back. Oh, don't you worry. The magnesium pylon is set and ready. I'm just waiting for one more component. But I see you have successfully retrieved it. It was an easy feat. The adventurers are too dumb to clean up their mess. With this head, I can commence the ritual. You must head to the top of the pylon if you wish for this to work. I'm ready. How about you? Then let it commence. Infuse the power. It consumes you. Feel it through to your mind. You will be granted. How do you feel? Oh, I can feel so much now. Time runs through me.
The canyon has been rebuilt and the hunt for Solux is on, but before that a few tasks need to be done. To find Solux they need a specific person to help, the Sculk fallen Abug. The group heads back to the crypt where they are greeted by the ancient who has been helping them. He states how Abug is back to a human ever since Sculk fell, but he has gone insane. They must splash him with a special potion to snap him out. It works. Abug is back to a normal man and heads back to the spire. The mayor of Silver Village has been brought back from his time loop and is currently trapped in the sewers. The group finds him, but for him to be free, the hands of the clock tower must be fixed, to repair time itself. The group is given the right components to fix the tower. They find a book from the timekeeper himself in the...
The hands are stuck still, but why? Shouldn't they have fixed themselves after my fall? The hands cannot simply be rebuilt, not from a normal being like you. My soul's voyage through time has seen no end yet, but maybe I'll give the gift of time. The blessing to finally end my reign once and for all. The anomaly who slipped through time to find you. His gift will fix these hands. Then my voyage will see an end. But does an end really mean the finale? Only time will tell. These next words will be the last I speak. Only until I come back will the timeline be destruct. But for now, it won't be for a while, so enjoy it. For what I have done has cursed time itself for eternity. And for that, I give my apologies. Until we meet again.
The timekeeper is stuck in a solar void with no end in sight. Instead of keeping hatred, he is given the gift of time to help the group restore time itself back to normal. But he warns for when his inevitable return comes, time will be disrupted once again. Adrian Tinmike is free from his cell. Up top the spire, Bullet Shepherd, Samuel Abug, and Trixie Laluna await. They discuss the plan to stop Solux.
Nice of you guys to show up. And I see you guys managed to bring Samuel back. I'm glad he's okay, because he houses some information that's crucial for our next steps. There have been rumors that Solux has entered the overworld, or at least we think he is here. From some information I've heard around, he seems to be locked on heading to the oceans to get hold of the Heart of the Sea. The Heart is a crucial artifact that keeps the unknown Shroud of Darkness and its creatures locked away in the abyssal darkness. Without it, our oceans will be covered in darkness and be completely destroyed. And on top of that, the Darkness Shroud will slowly make its way through the overworld. The faction that does protect the Heart is currently out of contact distance, and if we don't warn them about Solux soon, we might just lose this artifact. This is where Samuel's info comes in handy. He knows of the location where the broken portal rests. That portal should take us near the Heart. I would talk with Aberg. He will know more.
Once again, I must thank you guys. It feels so good to be out of that crypt. Oh yeah, right. As Shepard said, the only way to the Heart of the Sea fast would be going back to my ocean base near the island of the Crystal. There lies an old water village where the sea sirens once rested. From what I've seen, they have a portal there. I've been watching them, and have seen and heard a lot of information. But you guys should know some of this already. You were there for a bit to deactivate an all-site beacon. The portal should be active. If not, then you guys could probably figure it out. I also know the water around that village is very toxic, so I would take caution when entering it. I would also keep an eye out for the sea sirens as well. I'm pretty sure they're a friendly race, but with this conflict about to open at their doorstep, they might start attacking anything that isn't their own race.
With that, the group kits up and prepares to head to the heart of the sea, for the oceans need their help.